Okay, Impact Wrestling. I'm going to make this clear that I might not make this very long because I am kind of tired. I'm fried. It's been very hot in New York. And I'm tired. And next to that, today's one of those rare days that it's not easy for me to deal with. So I'll explain that in a minute. But let's go through the numbers here. Was this a good show? Yeah, it wasn't bad in Canada. They did a good job here. Camera work, generally speaking, was okay. It was not always perfect. A couple of times they did the zoom ins like they normally do, but it's been kept to a minimum. So I'm fine with that. We don't know if the audio was bad in the ring. They really didn't cover that much. They did more in the back. And I will say that when you look at the vid packs, they're doing more black and white mixed in with the vid packages, which I agree with. It's not like AEW, it's not like WWE. They are throwing in a little bit of a difference. Maybe that's Delirious, putting that into his work, because we know that Jimmy Jacob is not working there anymore. He's working with AEW. So if Delirious is the one who's saying, look, when we do these vid packs, periodically for the video, let's make it go black and white. Fine. Okay, what did we get in the very beginning? We got Trinity and Danny Luna from Subculture versus the Coven. Now, this felt like, let me give it to you like this. Do I like Danny Luna? Yeah, I do. She reminds me of an early Jordynne Grace. Let's make this clear and let's not get this twisted. Danny Luna is what Jordynne Grace looked like when she first came into the came into Impact Wrestling, 2019, 18? No, 18, somewhere around 17, 18, I think, when Jordynne Grace came in. I can't remember when she came in, but it was in somewhere near 2020, somewhere near it. And this is what we got. That is what Jordynne Grace used to look like. Legitimately. Danny Luna is what Jordynne Grace used to look like. It is such a strange feeling looking at the next Jordynne Grace. Unless she changes her look, this is what we got. This didn't really feel like it really gave much to Trinity. No, not really. Because after the win she got against Deonna Purrazzo, which I'll talk about in a minute, she really didn't need this. This more, I think, was to help a little bit of Danny Luna, since she's on the roster at this moment with Subculture. And the Faces won. I'm not surprised. There was no way that they were going to let Trinity lose. She's doing well. Everyone is cheering for her. Even if it's not loud cheers, you can hear the people are very popular with Trin. Question now, and I got to say this now. As someone who's been a Trinity fan since she first started in WWE working in the Funkadactyls, I said it myself. I knew this girl could always wear her emotions on her sleeve when she was working with Cameron and the Funkasaurus. Well, I'm sorry. I could always tell. There was never a problem with me. But now the question is, how long is she going to stay? Does she have a year contract or not? Or does she have a multi-year deal? I don't know. This is going to be the question. She's the champ now, but the question is, how long is she going to stay? Because a lot of people would expect her to just stay for maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 months, be out, and head over to AEW. That's what a lot of people would think. But the question is going to be, will she do that or not? I have no clue. And particularly that Emergence is coming up, and now Deonna Purrazzo is enacting a rematch clause. Excuse me. She wants to get it done now. She showed her respect, but she wants to get it done now. Fine. There's no problem with that. The question is, what are we going to get in the next couple of weeks as Trin's got to be shown on TV? She is now the Knockouts champion. I want to see her more on TV, maybe do more segments in the back. She doesn't have to do theatrics or anything, but to show her range, because let's make this clear. She can talk, she can wrestle, but can she do something more? This is an entirely different situation where Impact Wrestling can give her a lot more variation in what she can do. I'm wondering what it's going to be. Moving on. Now, this is from my friend. I could leave this for the very end, and I know he would love this, but I can't. I'm sorry, you know who you are, and I know you are laughing your ass off as you always do. If you were a woman, not saying you are, you would marry Johnny Swinger because he's that damn funny. He makes you laugh your ass off. I'm sorry, you would. I'm gonna say this in your comment. When you leave a comment, I'm gonna say, if you were a woman, not saying you are, you would marry Johnny Swinger because he makes your ass laugh. That's the truth. What did we get here? A full circle. Kind of goes with the title. Johnny Swinger and Ziggy Dice. Let's make this very clear. What did we get in these stakes? Johnny has been wanting that chance to become a number one contender and get a shot. He's been this for a while. He's always wanted it. We know he's wanted it. He tried to do the 50 wins and he can never get it done. Now it's been made clear. You get one shot. One chance. If you win, you're in. But if you lose, you're gone. And that also goes with Ziggy because they've been doing everything they can to give Johnny a shot to be able to win. So what did we get here? I knew that there could be a possibility that it could happen. Admittedly, since I've been a bit fried, it took me a little while to remember that I thought this, and maybe even said it in a previous Impact, that a finger poke of doom eventually would happen if Johnny Swinger went up against Ziggy Dice. But we got it at first, and Ziggy couldn't go through with it. He did the finger poke of doom, he lands on the floor, but he wouldn't let the pin happen because he just couldn't. He wants to keep his damn job. So they started fighting one another. I kind of wish, and let's make this clear. You got two comedic wrestlers here, but I kind of wish they had dragged this out a little bit because they could have said, you know what, you're getting this match. If one of you win, you get the shot. One of you lose, one of you is out. I kind of wish they did 2 or 3 weeks of this. I know not everyone would like it, but I kind of wish they did instead of making it so damn short. 1 week of build. I kind of wish it didn't have to happen that way. Because Ziggy deserved a little more than that. And Johnny deserved more. Look, if you like Johnny or not, it's irrelevant. Johnny, to me, he's a good comedic wrestler. I'm sorry. And for my friend, he's still not better than Dirty Dango and you know who, Tyler Breeze. I'm sorry. He's not better than them. That's not meant to be a knock against him either. But he's just not better than both of them. And Ziggy was with him. He was not better with Ziggy by his side compared to Breezango. He's not better than them. But it does not mean he's not a good comedic wrestler. He is. That's the reason why your ass laughs every time. But I see him as a good comedic wrestler. And he deserved a little more than what he got. Yes, he got the Wrestle House. Yes, he did. But it's not about Wrestle House. It's about being more serious at least once. And I think he could have had that. And so did Ziggy. In the end, he acted like, you know what, Daddy, I'm done. And I'm sure my friend is going like, yeah, this is so good. No. What are you doing giving up? No. That's what the person I'm talking to, I'm sure he acted like. Whenever he sees this, because my friend is in a different country, and he can't always watch it. Takes time, maybe almost a week before he can even see it, a week after it happens. So I know for a fact he was like, no. And what did we get? We get the backstabbing of both of them. Each one of them backstabbed the other. Eventually, you get Johnny Swinger saying, you know what, I'm done. It's your time, Daddy, as he's telling Ziggy Dice. He lets him get into his cart. He says it's your time. He does the Hulk Hogan pose. And then he gets basically clotheslined to hell. Ish. And then he gets the pin. And Ziggy is done. We heard the rumors that Ziggy was leaving Nick Aldis. And it's true. Ziggy's gone. Now the question's going to be, and let's make this very clear. And I know my friend would say this was hilarious. I'm going to be honest here. And this is from my friend. And he won't listen. Because he's not going to listen. He's going to think about how funny it was. The question now is, what will they do to Johnny to set this up to make it either make him look bad? Because I'm sorry, my friend. There is no way they're going to make this a great match. It's not going to be a great match. Not that Johnny Swing can't wrestle. He's a comedic wrestler. To make this mean something, he has to be serious, and he never will be. So he's going to get his ass handed to him. Seriously bad. Either it's going to be Josh Alexander beating his ass badly, or it's going to be Alex Shelley beating his ass badly. You love him so much, you should listen to what I'm saying, because you won't. He's going to get his ass handed to him badly. But the question is, how are they going to show him before? And that's if they don't do it in 1 week. Because there's a good chance they're just going to get this over with. Because as they did this, Johnny may get a match next week with Alex Shelley. And he will get his ass handed to him. Now, I kind of wish he wouldn't, because this would be the first time he could actually get a little serious and make it mean something. Just once. They did that with Santino Marella. He got serious once. But I don't see it happening. Let's move on. I took a long time with that. I'm sorry. I had to from one of my subscribers. A nice guy who loves Johnny so much. Like I said, if he was a woman, which he's not, he'd marry him. Let's move on. Giselle Shaw versus one of the MK Ultra, Marsha. Now, let me say this. We had Vidal at ringside. We had Savannah Evans at ringside. And we also had Killer Kelly. I gotta say this. I'm not fond of the red color. I mean, when they put everything red. I've never 100% been fond of when Killer Kelly did it. Doesn't mean I hated it. But when Bray Wyatt did it, that was an issue. But I was happy to see that a woman was getting it now. So I looked past the red color. But I'm not always fond of it. Blue is not too bad, but if you do it all the time, that's going to be a question. Now, mind you, the presentation is excellent. If you look past the red color, which I have, because as a reviewer, I have to say the truth. Whether I like the red color or not, like with Bray Wyatt, which was highly annoying, when you see the presentation of the Titantron and the red color, seeing them together, it works. It's a great presentation for them both. Now, I'm sure someone's going to say, maybe. Dude, so you realize you screwed up and said that Killer Kelly and Marsha Sanders would never work out. I never said they wouldn't work out. I told you, Marsha was never treated right. She went all the way here and got her ass handed to her multiple times by the top tier wrestlers. And then was relegated to having a Killer Kelly match, which I said was going to be the most brutal matches they can do, and eventually they tagged together. And the question was going to be, after that, what would they do with them? They gave them the titles. Which, in this situation, the way they had the presentation and the way the match went was wise. Finally, they are doing something with the woman I like a lot, which was Killer Kelly, and a woman that deserved way more than what she was getting, and I liked her, in the Marsha Slamovich. So, the match was good, and here's the thing about Giselle Shaw, and I know not everyone is fond of her. She has improved a lot since she started working in Impact Wrestling. When she first started, you can see that her character wasn't really on point, her wrestling was okay, but when it came down to it, she needed more. She has it. She has that personality that goes with a ring work. Not everyone puts ring work with personality. Not all the time do they ramp up their work in the ring to go with their personality. A lot of times they keep their work the same. And it doesn't always translate. She's done very well. How she was working that match was actually quite good. She's improved quite a lot. In the end, Shaw won due to the fact of interference outside. Now, what does that mean? It means that Marsha and Kelly are probably looking at their new opponents for their titles. But I'm questioning, what about Vidal? What happened last week, we still don't know why he was in the fetal position. What did Jody Threat do to him? Did she smack him around? Did she beat him up? Did she, quote unquote, gave him the business to make him well, what they used to say, make an honest man out of you. That's what some women would say, or some men. Hey, go with this woman, she'll make an honest man out of you. I am not saying that, but let's make it clear. I want to see how he's going to respond when Jody Threat comes around. Is he going to be scared? Is he going to be terrified because she beat him up? Or is he going to be terrified that she's going to walk over to him and start acting all sexy in front of him, and he's going to be cringing in fear? That would be funny. And that would give a little something to Vidal to do, because he'll be dealing with Jody Threat, who, nothing wrong with her, other than I think she still needs to be a heel. But that's just me. Moving on. Dirty Dango segment with Alpha Bravo. Let's make this clear. Is this a good segment? Yes. It has the black and white in it, on and off, which I think some people won't like, others will. We'll make this clear. The presentation they're doing in Impact, making people go black and white to make it feel more realistic, to make it feel more feeling, I think it's a pretty good thing to do. Doesn't mean everyone is going to be fond of it. They're going to think it's very stupid or very old school, which that's what the feel is like. It's kind of an old school feel, trying to make you focus on that person when they go black and white. They're emphasized. They're important. But I got to say this. How he talked about Scott and Santino was fine. I had no problem with it. Saying that he needs protection because one guy thinks it's 1995 and Scott. The other one thinks that he knows judo with a damn cobra on his hand, smacking someone in the face, and I don't want to have a broken nose or an eye blotch or something like pink. I want to be safe. So this man here, and he asked him, so how long did you stay in Vietnam? He says, I vacationed there 6 days. And he said, this guy fucking stayed at Vietnam. He's trying to say, like, anybody who's a Vietnam vet would understand, if you were in Vietnam, some shit went down. And he is supposed to be like that, but he vacationed there. But you get my point. He's trying to emphasize that Alpha Bravo, I like that, Alpha Bravo is important to be his personal security. And I'm hoping that Dirty Dango gets more out of this, because I still think he should be Digital Media Champion. But since right now Kenny King's Digital Media Champion and Joe Henley, I still gotta look behind me. Joe Henley is trying to get his rematch clause, but then you see Uemura trying to weasel his way into it, which I like. This is what I was hoping for. Yuri Uemura is new into Impact. He can speak some English. It's obvious the way he spoke. And I'm glad they gave him that segment with, who was it he was with? I think he was with Santino. And they were talking about Dirty Dango and Alpha Bravo, but also talking about, I believe, Emergence and their match. And Uemura was trying to find a way to be included in it, and he got what he wanted. Joe Henley didn't want him there, but Uemura managed to get into it, and he's saying pretty much, okay, you're my friend, I'll let you in. But you can see, like, and then he says, why don't you say thank you in Japanese? He says, arigato. It's good to see that Uemura is being used. This is one of the problems when you bring someone in from another country, like when it comes to Hukendo Gunja. Sorry, I always get his first name wrong. And now Uemura. You got to give them a type of stick that's going to work with what they already got and what they can make out of it. We don't need Gunja to be 100% an Indian wrestler. We just need some parts of his Indian heritage to be added in to make it mean something, and then you build on top of that. And Uemura, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm just saying this. Okay, next match. Time Splitters. Shelly and Kushida versus Moose and Brian Myers. Now, supposedly, from what they said, Time Splitters has gone all around the world, but they never teamed up in Impact Wrestling. We've done Time Machine, but never this. So this was interesting. Okay, match. Not bad. Time Splitters won, and I'm not surprised. And then they got the beat down. But then it gets a little confusing because you get this segment before then when you got pretty much Brian, Moose, Bully, and Lio Rush. And they're trying to convince Lio Rush to work with them, join them. He said he don't want no friends. And they're telling him, no. We're not talking about friends. We're working together because this is the best thing for us. We don't need friends. We just need to get the job done. And they told him flat out, either you join us or get your ass whooped. So when this match was over, you see that Lio made the decision and started beating the crap out of Shelly. And they were fine with it. Josh came out. And who else came out? Oh yeah, a very confusing thing because from what I heard, I'm surprised Chris Sabin's back. Supposedly he was actually pretty hurt. But he just reappeared after a couple of weeks. Now maybe it wasn't that bad. I'm hoping he's fine. But after hearing that he was injured and now he's back and he beats the crap out of Lio Rush, you wonder how far was the injury? Or is it still ongoing injury that he was injured and they were questioning if he could continue, but now they found out that he's still injured, but he could work through it, like getting maybe therapy or something. Because that happens with wrestlers. It's not as severe as it is. The best match was Speedball Mike Bailey and Alex Wentz. Let me give it to you like this. Seeing Wentz there makes me happy. Seeing how the attitude they have together, and that's Trey and him, it's good to see. Seeing that Kimberly didn't fully succeed in what she did makes me even more happy. And if you don't know who that is, Kimberly used to be Wentz's woman. And there was so much trouble between them. And it wasn't Wentz who started it. It was his own woman who is bipolar. Or multi-layered disorder, I believe. That I can't remember what they call it. The disorder of having more of a misbalance, like multiple personalities or attitude. But she caused him so much grief that he had to leave NXT when he was working with Wesley. He's gone through a lot. And Kimberly caused that havoc for him. He didn't do anything wrong. So seeing him back in Impact and they're pushing him with Trey, it's great. I'm happy with it. And the match was very good. In the end, Wentz won due to the fact of a lot of interference because of Trey. And he did get kicked out, but then you see the spray to the face. Let me give it to you like this. They do a lot of that spraying. They sprayed him in the face, he gets nailed, and Wentz wins. The question is going to be how far they're going to go with these two. Because we are going to have ABC facing them, and then we will deal with... I'm hoping Subculture will happen. Not an emergence, but maybe Multiverse United. Stretch it out. Don't rush them to go from ABC, then straight into to Subculture. Stretch it out a little bit, please, Impact. Kaz talked to his wife, who wants to beat that bitch. Tracy just wants to kick the ass of Alicia Edwards, and his wife is adamant. I don't even care if it's a regular match. Just give me 5 minutes with her in the ring. But he made it very clear. Look, you're not an in-ring competitor anymore, and she's not worth it. And you can see the look in her face, like, motherfucker, I don't care if she's not worth it to you. She's worth it to me. So that means sooner or later they're gonna get in the ring together, and that's Tracy Brooks as well as Alicia Edwards. It's gonna happen. But the best option would be a stipulation match. It's got to be. They need to do a stipulation match. Maybe it might be an emergence. I don't know. You guys tell me below what you think. Should there be a stipulation match between the two? Because I think there should be. I'm not going to talk about Alan Angels. I'm going to leave that alone with him and Heath. But the final match I'm going to talk about is Nick Aldis and Eric Young. Guys, you see Eric Young coming out. New music. Good. That mask, though, if it's in my face, if I'm putting images in, it's in my face. That is a freaking Destro mask. If you don't know who Destro is, look up OGI Joe. You will know who Destro is because of that damn mask and Iron Man in Iron Mask. That sucker looked beautiful, that mask. And the mask, with the music, made Eric feel a little different. But what isn't different, where a lot of people may say that this was the weakest match, I'm going to tell you now. This was a classical wrestling match that you would have had in the 1990s to the early 2000s. This is what this was. Both of these guys are not known to be high flyers. Both of them are more traditional pro wrestlers from the late 90s to the early 2000s. They're not super aerialists. They're doing straight up psychology. They're going to do straight up standard holds, standard punches, standard kicks, standard clotheslines, everything generally classical. Now, most people will not like it. Others are going to love it. And I'm just telling you, that's what you got here. It was a good classical pro wrestling match. No high flying, no extreme impacts like they normally do. It is just a standard match, which was a good one. And in the end, we got Nick Aldis losing clean. This is where I got to say this before we get to the design and how Eric got his ass handed to him. I got to say this. I've heard the rumors of him maybe going to WWE and may become I don't know. I don't think he'll be a trainer, and I don't think he'll be a producer. I don't know. I can't say he'll be a wrestler either, because the rumors are they don't want him as a wrestler, they want him as a producer. And the reason was because of the NWA. If you don't know, he used to book at NWA with Billy Corgan. That's the reason why NWA at a certain time between 2018 to 2020, NWA was hot because of how the booking was going on. And most of it was done by Nick, not Billy. It was done by Nick and one other person. That is how they booked. So maybe they want him there. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's what it is. Now, after the match was over, the design came in, attacked. Khan put him through the plates of the floor, not the mat. He drove him through the mat, into the floor, and into the plate of the floor. 4 times, I believe. He did 4 power bombs, or was it 3? I think 3 to 4 power bombs, and then 1 DDT from Deaner himself, and then he sat on Eric Young's chest. Full circle. We are now looping back where Deaner now has to possibly change. Let's make this clear. This all started when Eric Young came in. And now he turned Deaner into the next design. What could be next is Deaner being turned back into a good guy again. I'm not saying it possible, but it could be a beginning of a full circle. That's what I think. But this is just me. I hope you like this. Have a good day. Have a night. Oh, I'm so fried. I'm still sweating bullets in here. Ugh. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. Today is a special day. I should say it. Today's my birthday. I didn't want this video to be this long, but I thought I'd say this. That, you can see my balded ass head. Look at this bald head. I'm saying this now because I want to thank everybody who's watched my videos all these years. This is one of the first shows I've done, and I want to say thank you, and have a good night. Peace.